Good morning, race fans, and welcome to the EFRA 1/10th IC Track European Championships. Thursday qualifying, building up to the first of the qualifying sessions in the afternoon. We're in the middle of controlled practice right now in İzmir, Turkey. A beautiful facility here. The EFMOD Arena is a mightily good venue for RC car racing, set in the foothills with forests and woodland spreading out as far as the eye can see. And this facility is a magnificent one. It is tailor-made for everything you could ever want for RC racing. And the competitors here looking for glory in the European IC 1/10th Track Championships could not have a tougher challenge in terms of a circuit or a better facility to compete in. I'm Adam Johnson here, along with the rest of the RC Racing TV team here. It's James Parry, and alongside me it's Matt McCullum. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm sounding a little bit hissy, but we're going to sort that problem out.
You're not having a hissy fit?
I'm not having a hissy fit yet. It will happen, but yeah, there's a bit of a hiss on the line, but we're going to sort that out. We're getting everything running smoothly, but as Adam says, wow, what a facility. And the picture you just painted with the foothills and the forestry, yeah, it's not wrong. It's amazing. But one thing you can say is it's very, very hot. It
is incredibly hot out there. Just to paint a picture for particularly any of our British viewers, you know when it gets particularly hot in the middle of summer, when it hits the mid-30s, and you say, "Oh, this is too hot. We can't do anything in this heat." It's going to be that temperature all 5 days of this tournament out here in İzmir, Turkey, and they're getting down and getting to it. They're getting their work clothes on and they're getting busy, because this is just the climate. This is how it is. We are near the coastal town city of İzmir, which, driving out from our hotel this morning, it stretches off in all directions. It is a magnificent city in the middle of a beautiful countryside. I mean, you really could not want a better facility for RC racing. They will not be lacking for facilities. They will not be lacking for preparation, will any of these competitors out here. And we will not be lacking for some of the most supreme talent in European RC competition. There'll be a few familiar names coming up. We've split the competition. It's the B and A European Championships out here this week. And in the A Championship in particular, you'll have some familiar names on the list, especially if you tune into our live coverage of the 1/8th IC Track European Championships out in Ettlingen in Germany just a couple of weeks back. I was there as well as part of the team, and it was a fantastic event. Another beautiful scenery. It seems to be a running theme for RC racetracks. They sure can pick where to build them. And that championship was won in the end by Oliver Mack, and it was a fiercely contested one. I can tell you there are competitors like Teemu Lainu, Simon Kuursbuk, and more out here this weekend as well. And that's because the cars competing are fairly similar. I mean, they're 1/10 scale, they're slightly smaller than the 1/8 scale cars. They're touring car bodied, so they're touring cars. As you can see there, our main camera is cranking into gear, getting into action, just getting warmed up. These cars are very, very fast. So that'll be a challenge for any cameraman, but our man's up to the job. Coming down through the hairpin. Let's just take you on a brief lap of the track, shall we? It's a very technical track. It's a very tricky little track, but it's also a very fun one to watch as well. Here's the start-finish line right there. There's your first corner. Pair of hairpins there, a sort of S complex there. As they come round, another hairpin here. Then the bus stop chicane. Tricky little corner that I've seen some instance there. Double right onto the long back straight. Look how long they'll be on the gas here. Look, all the way down, still not braking until right down here at the EFRA hairpin. And he's actually stopped just at the hairpin there. Maybe lost a bit of transmission over there, which is a shame. We were in the middle of a pretty interesting lap there. But you can see the rest of the lap there. Coming round into another pair of hairpins. A lot of S complexes there. Then a final pair of right turns into this triangular section down there, and you can see where the yellow grid slots are. That's where we'll have rolling and standing starts. Those are your starting blocks there. You've also got the Le Mans style grid slots as well there. This track literally caters to any sort of European competition, and in the speeches last night in the opening ceremony, they were very clear about how ambitious they wanted to be with this track. They wanted this to be a world-class RC racing facility and to bring the finest competitors and the biggest tournaments in RC racing. As we get ready for the next round coming up immediately, we have James Parry joining us on the microphone down here. What are your first impressions here, just how close things are in the early competitive going? I mean, this isn't even qualifying yet, and there's nothing to separate these drivers.
No, it is very close. Yeah, it looks like we're setting up for a good few days of racing at this amazing venue here in Turkey. We are obviously RC Racing TV. My name is James Parry, and we're here. Thank you to HB Racing, D'Agostini Models, and VRC Pro, who will be sponsoring the replays, which we'll see lots of this week when we've got some replay action to bring you. Don't forget, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Don't forget, if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, head over to Facebook, search for RC Racing TV, click find, and then click join. And once we've confirmed you are not a seller of the fake sunglasses or unwanted financial advice, any kind of spam, and you are in fact a real person, we will welcome you into the group live on air, just like Anders Fleischer did. Anders from Norway has an X-ray top on. I like to try and talk about people when they're joining the group, but a lot of people's profiles are locked down these days, so it doesn't really give us the opportunity to do that. Nevertheless, welcome Anders to the Facebook group. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just very interesting you say that. Why is it that a lot of these spam accounts seem to be selling Ray-Bans? Ray-Ban sunglasses. They're very popular.
Yeah, it's always Ray-Bans. I think probably because they're so expensive in the first place. I don't know, but
it's very strange.
We try and filter these people out. I've already done some pre-filtering. Confirm we have none of those people waiting to join. Like Scott Hibbard. Scott Hibbard, welcome to RC Racing TV. Who else do we have here? I'm going to try and pronounce your surname, as some of the viewers who may have listened to me on the microphone before may know my pronunciations are terrible. Nevertheless, Dante Idiolantes. Hello, welcome to RC Racing TV.
Yeah.
As soon as I say that, we've now got lots of people pouring in to join us, which is great. I will get to you as soon as I can. Brian Slots, lockdown profile, can't get a lock, but I can see you like dogs. Hello, Brian. Welcome to RC Racing TV. As
don't
we
sell us Ray-Bans. We don't want them.
No. As we always do, RC Racing TV. If we see any dogs, we will bring you live coverage of any RC dogs that we see. At the moment, though, we have seen no dogs around the track. Lots of dogs in Izmir, but none at the track itself yet. Yining Wang, 3 friends in the group. Let's see if I can find out something from your profile picture. Lives in Cork, from Chuzu. Hello, welcome to RC Racing TV. I think he, if I remember rightly on his profile page, he had I'm going to double check now so I don't get this wrong. He had is it Team Durango? No, is that a Team Durango? I should know. I'm not a technical person. A T8E V3. I don't think that's a Durango car. If anyone knows who the manufacturer of that car is, please drop it in the comments on the YouTube page. Nevertheless, welcome Yining to RC Racing TV. I'll pass you back to Adam because I've been babbling on now long enough about Facebook. I'll pass you over some action from the track.
Absolutely, and keep your comments coming in on the YouTube stream. We love having almost too many to deal with. At times it means you are filling us full of knowledge and full of your enthusiastic banter and discussion about RC racing. I love how passionate the community is and how passionate fans are of motorsport of all scales and all levels, as we are now counting down to the start of this Group 2 of practice, of control practice for the B European Championship. That's a close-up at the number 7 car of Atelier Antique. Another huge contingent of Turks in this group. In fact, there is only one non-Turkish driver out of the 7 in this group. Arno Pupke, the German driver, is indeed one of those, but the rest, it is an all-Turkish lockdown. As we have a look at the number 7 car, and now we have a look at the number 6 of Kaya Ali. Late fettling there.
That's been on its roof a few times.
It has indeed. I think that's what he's trying to tell the driver. How many times have you flipped this thing?
Lots of, as per normal from the pit lane, lots of shouting, lots of wavy hands. Obviously, I've just come from camera up there. How they communicate with their drivers up on the rostrum, I have no idea. You can't hear a thing down there.
They don't have two-way radios?
No, just lots of flappy hands and shouting. And they seem to get along fine.
A lot of hand gestures as well. They seem to have worked out their own sign language for RC Racing crew chiefs. As the cars are out on the track now, and this practice session is underway, and Arno Pupke is leading them away, and that bright green car on your screen there, luminescent green, it kind of reminds me of the old, the colour of Paul Walker's old Mitsubishi Eclipse in the Fast and Furious films, some of the early ones. It's that sort of bright lime green, or the Mitsubishi Evo from the second one. You remember that one?
I can't remember the colours of the cars. I have watched those films, but I can't believe you actually remember the colours of the cars. It's a great memory.
It was the teen years. You watched a lot of Fast and Furious, and whatever colour that car is, it's now got another mark on it. I know it was the number 6 car that had the marks on the roof. That now will have a mark on the left front, as it's gone nose in at that corner, and it just what strikes me about it is that there's such a slim margin for error, such a thin margin for error, as he's now up behind. There's a 3-car group there, and it's the number 5 just in front of them, and then the number 6 just behind. So that's Haluk Soyoruk, who's just in front, and it's the number 6 just behind. A little bit of contact there. Steady on, guys. We've not even got into the qualifying sessions yet. You're already getting into it. That was the number 6 of Kayo Ali, who had a little bit of a crack there. But meanwhile, Poupke has repassed the number 5 car. So he's working his way back up. But that will have hurt his average across the session. That's what a lot of it is dictated by. These two are having a good little battle, you know. Maybe some battle lines being drawn, and maybe just a little bit of practice. Kind of feeling each other out. It's a bit like sparring in boxing. You're in the practice session, so there's nothing to race for, per se. But you're just figuring out, is there a chance to pass there? No, probably not. That didn't work. So these are all things to be stowed away in the memory bank, ready for when the racing gets underway. And for when you've got to make those big moves, it's useful to have that in the back of your head to work out. So cars screaming around this track still, and they really do scream. This is the theatre of screams, and I don't mean that in a Halloween sense. I mean that in the literal sense that these cars wail. They really can wail, and they have the speed to match their incredible sound. Another car just into the wall just in front of them. That's the light green and blue car. That is the number 2 of Cengiz Somezlia.
Oh.
And that looks to be terminal.
I recognise that sign language. The shaking of the hand across the throat.
That's fairly universal.
Yes, I think it's dead.
It is kaput. Presumably, I mean, maybe he just lost steering there. I mean, at the far end of the track, it's very easy for any sort of problems to emerge. But I wonder if he just damaged the steering there and it was unable to get refired. As we're now watching the very attractive number 7 car of Atelier Antink. And that crimson red kind of metallic car with the black roof, or the graphite roof. Really nice colours on the car, and I love how creative some of the paint schemes are on these cars. They look fantastic, and they've got to stand out from a distance. And that's interesting there. He was wide there. He didn't hit the wall there, but we've seen a few guys, James, have some issues at that corner right there. It appears they're struggling a little bit with understeer in these warm conditions. With
understeer? I'm surprised, actually, because I was out on the track yesterday laying some cables. The more technical people will be able to confirm whether this... what they actually do to the track, but it's very sticky, and it wasn't just the heat and the fact it's tarmac. It was a very sticky track. I'm not sure if they're allowed to use additives on the tyres here, or whether there's some kind of compound on the track. But literally, if you stand still for a couple of seconds, you have to peel your shoes off the track. So maybe that corner's just losing a bit of the additive on the track, losing a bit of grip. I'm not sure.
Or perhaps conversely, it's almost getting too much grip down, because you're absolutely right about the line there. I mean, you can see the darker line on the track there. Normally what that is kind of burnt off rubber and sort of burnt off oil from the fuel command there. You see the little plume of smoke there. You want that to be... That's just about right. Too much and too little will be issues there, but that's just right. And that sort of layers down and adds its own compound to the track as it's heated down. So I wonder what's happening there. There's almost too much grip down there. They need to get the cars a little bit... twitch the back end out a little bit to get it through some of the corners. There, it's just not, and it's actually turning too much. It's just sticking to the track and not turning in. So I wonder there's a little bit more of a slide there as well. So it's interesting to watch here. Maybe it's just personal issues for some of that corners. And it seems that the run to that corner as well, it kind of throws the car, they're coming through a left-hander before that sharp right. So I wonder if there's just a little, it's about getting the rhythm going through those corners as well. Rhythm. This is a rhythm-based track, most definitely. This is really all about the flow. As we have a look round this track, we're coming towards the end of this controlled practice session. They're really flying by in these early sessions, and it looks like Arnaud Poupke has recovered from his early falling off, his early incident, and it looks like he'll come out on top in this session. His closest challengers, as the clock ticks down to 0, are Umut Oztuman, the number 3 car, who are actually, I think, following there. Easy for me to say. About trying to spot a small number on a very small, very fast-moving object. It's like trying to identify UFOs from a distance. That is the number 3 car. That's Umut Oztuman. So there's his second place in this heat, and third place there. Oh, actually jumping up to second right at the end there is Kaya Ali, who was having some pretty solid runs there. We saw him right there in the mix with Poupke as well, so he was looking pretty racy there. As we get ready now for the third group practice session, or the third practice session in group 3 rather, in practice 2 for the European B Championships. On this wide-ranging facility, a bit of a chat between officials and drivers near the end there. There's a lot of chat, a lot of discussion. There'll be a lot of talk, making sure that conditions are just the best they can be and the best they possibly want. Just see behind there the road leading past there. It's coming off one of the main motorways out of Izmir. We come down this little road. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2015 EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships here on a beautiful sunny day in Izmir in Turkey at the EFMOD Arena. Magnificent venue, witnessing some of Europe's finest nitro touring car drivers in the 1/10 discipline. And we are underway with the first round of qualifying. As I just clear a frog from my throat there, I apologise. We are underway with the first round of qualifying. First of 5 rounds as the quest to become top qualifier begins. And it cannot be overstated just how important a position that will be, especially with the position that top qualifier occupies as being the first driver in the entire tournament to advance into the final and be locked there. No need to go through Super Pole, no need to go through the lower finals. He'll be right there and will almost have one hand on that elusive European Championship trophy. I say one hand, almost. There's still a lot that can happen, and being top qualifier is no guarantee that you'll win the overall championship, but it doesn't half help. So in this first qualifying heat, this is the first round. This is Group 1 in the B European class, and at the moment, as they're going round, it's Spreng Heli of the Czech Republic who is leading the way after the early few laps. His fastest is 28.921 on this twisting EFMOD Arena track. Laps averaging from between 25 to 30 seconds, fluctuating wildly as they can, and sometimes do. So we take a look around the cameras around the track as one of the cars goes wide a little bit there. First few corners, the initial turns, and then round onto the back straight, and then our pit camera observing. That'll be full of things to watch throughout the event, and will be a source of great action and perhaps quite a bit of controversy throughout the weekend as well. So Spreng Heli doing a good job early doors, but the Turkish hordes are hunting after him as best they can. There is an astonishing 9 or 8 Turkish drivers in this group, along with David Hassel and Spreng Heli, the Czech Republic, the Swedish and Czech Republic drivers, respectively. The rest of the field are all Turks. A lot of local interest here, and Haluk Sayoruk, is battling with Atali Atink for second place right now. They're literally trading positions lap after lap here. They're both forecast, well, Spreng Heli is forecast to finish 11 laps in the 5-minute time, and his best so far at 28.3 now, so he's improving, and certainly his pace is a step up from most others in this heat. He's the clear class of this one. So it remains to be seen whether he can not only break out from this heat, but also make an impact on the overall leaderboards, as can often be done in these qualifiers. You don't necessarily get restricted to where your group is and where you qualify in that group. You can often break out of that and sort of make an impact overall on the leaderboards. And this is RC Racing TV's coverage of the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. On a beautiful sunny day, there was a risk of cloud, well, the smallest cloud you've ever seen, and even that's now gone away, so it is pure baking sunshine on the track. Track temperatures around, well, air temperatures around 36 degrees. So that's about the hottest day of a British summer you're likely to get. Multiply that, and that is what we're looking at for pretty much every single day of this tournament. And we will cover every moment of it, and every highlight, and every bit of action from this championship. Our coverage presented to you by HP Europe, the Agostini Model Space, VRC Pro, and EFRA. We are the official media partners of EFRA. I'm very proud to represent and bring you coverage of their event, of which this one is also shaping up to be yet another thriller. Well, the last of the season, and the last of the RCTV season, and we're looking to go out with a bang. We're certainly looking to go out on a very warm high, judging by the temperatures out there. Luckily, we're inside a very air-conditioned room here, so we're very grateful for that. The drivers out there on the driver's stand, and the cars are out there in the white-hot crucible of action. These 1/10 nitro burning touring cars are really enjoying this track and are relishing it, and the drivers are relishing getting to grips with its fluid technical layout. It is not technical in the sense of being a lot of slow, tricky corners. There's a lot of flow and a lot of fast corners as well. A great mix of corners and a great all-round track, which will really warm up first. So we get ready to watch. Our cameraman's back up.
Hello.
Hello, Matt. Matt has returned. I should remind you of the RC Racing TV team representing out here in Turkey on that first round. So let's see if we can get them up for you, as we have a little position swap in the box as well. Matt's heading up onto the camera, and James is joining me down here in the studio. How's the air conditioning feel down here?
It's not been too bad up there, actually, because it's been quite breezy.
Yeah, I did notice the breeze was picking up a little bit up there.
It's actually windier than you think. It was quite windy at the same point you were saying. It doesn't look that breezy.
That was the moment where the breeze was getting up.
Yeah, it's at the point I'm thinking, is the satellite going to blow over?
Cross your fingers that it doesn't.
We'll soon know.
Yeah, if there's suddenly just a load of static on the stream. But we are heading into the second round of qualifying now. We'll start with the Euro B runners. And the track continuing to evolve across the event. I'm just going to see if I can bring up the overall qualifying lists for the first round of Euro. The first round of Euro B. To see where we're at after that first round.
Are we early?
I think we might be. Me and Matt were speculating that there might only have been two groups of B qualifying. May well have been that the entry lists only meant that we had two groups of qualifiers, so I figure we're a little bit up on the schedule, but let's just have a look here. I think I may have how the B runners are ranked so far, and I do indeed, and I can tell you that after that first round, the order runs as Tom Krajewski, the German driver, is leading after that first round on 0 points. Now remember, it works the reverse. You want the least possible points here. If you win your qualifying session, you get 0. So 0 points for Krajewski, which is good. Nikos Georgiadis, the Greek driver, second then. Good performance from him. Yannick Nimozlo, third. And then Springheli, fourth. The Czech Republic driver. Followed by Kaya Ali, the first of the home drivers. Fifth, and then sixth for Haluk Suyoruk. Seventh for Atali Atink. And then eighth for Murat Ozkan. Ninth for Arno Pupke. And 10th for Kerem Duzgit. Now, to answer our questions after that, that first round, that'll be after the A class runners. After I was running out earlier, but Tom Krajewski with the early advantage then. And of this first group, the highest seeded driver would be Soyoruk in 6th overall. He's leading off this group then. As we have a quick look at the starting grid for this group. Soyoruk then is in 6th overall on the timing screens. Behind him is Bulent Togrul, who is 11th, sorry. He's 11th. Atale Antink is 7th. So we've got some guys in the second half of the top 10 up here. Murat Ozkan. Now, where's he? He's 8th. This is all on the overall scores, regardless of their group. This is the overall running. And there's also, remember, they do have that brief reversal as well. So the top 3 runners from the first round of qualifying are then put to the back for this one. So that adds a little bit more spice to each qualifying session. You have the runs inverted. You have them invert the top 3, put to the back. And then the top 6 are put to the back for the second round. Third round, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but it keeps getting inverted throughout the groups. Coming into the final round where the whole order is inverted 10 through 1. So, that, as I said, causes a lot of intrigue. So Sprengheli will be rolling off 8th, but is 4th overall on the timing screen. So, out of this heat, he's probably the one who could spring the biggest surprise and maybe break out of this group. Alongside Haluk Soyoruk, Kaya Ali is also... he's in the second group, but Ali and Siyoruk are your top 2 Turkish runners and will be the ones to watch throughout these Euro B qualifying sessions. So we're getting ready in the pit lane now, ready for action once again. Some pretty intense shouting down there. Some last-minute commands being screamed out. I wonder if someone's missing a marshal to run out there, or maybe some last-minute changes being made. Either way, the time for talking is over, and the time for action is now. A little less conversation, a little more action, please. The runners are heading out on the track. We are underway in the second round of qualifying here at the EFRA 110th IC Track European Championships. Our coverage brought to you on RC Racing TV by HB Europe, Dags Team On Space, and VRC Pro. And this event and our coverage also brought to you by EFRA. Wonderful folks that they are. Let's group underway then. And the two drivers we'll be most paying attention to are Haluk Siyoruk, 6th overall on the timing screens, and Sprengheli, Czech Republic driver, who's 4th overall. Coming through the first pair of rights there. We have a car back in the pit lane below us. That's the number 3 of Atis Bilieu. We also have the number 8 back in as well. So a couple of cars having problems early doors here. This is really much too early to be having issues here. I wonder if that was the source of all that shouting earlier on. But no, you missed it. Oh no, there you go. There you go. You got it eventually. We spend all day managing to nail shots of fast-moving cars, and we can't find a static car. There's the number 3 of Atis Bilieu. Something very wrong on that car. Definitely going inside the internals. Hard to diagnose from here, but might be something wrong with the tyres and the suspension. But let's return to the action out on the track. As right now, Sprengheli, as he did in the initial round, also putting on a good show here and backing up his claims to break out of this group and really take on the top end of town in terms of pace. There's not really that many runners left out there at the moment. Quite exceptional. We have the number 1 car coming through. There it is. That's the number 1 car of Sprengheli. Atale Atink is also up there as well. In the number 6. That's the Atink with him there. I think that might be Kvela Kutuk. And the number 7. Bright red car. It looks great in the sunshine out here, of which we are having plenty. We have an overload of sunshine, if anything. No, I think that might actually be Atale Atink. Bulent Tokur is also running well, the number 2 car. But as for Haluk Siyoruk, not so well. In fact, he didn't start this group. He did not start this run. He did not start this heat at all. So Haluk Siyoruk, issues for him. Murat Ozkan, David Hassel, and Sertak Palaz did not start. So we only had 6 starters. And then we lost Atis Bilieu. early on in that. So we have only got now 5 runners left out there in this Group 1 of Euro B qualifying round 2. And of those, Sprenghelly looks to be a clear favourite. Looks to be the strongest by far out of all of them. He is laying the smackdown on this group. His fastest so far, a 28.334, and his nearest competitor is a 29.837, so over a second and a half up. Yes, Fly, I agree, that is very quick. Would you please stop trying to land on my microphone? So Sprenghelly at the moment, in the absence of Alex Sioruk, is on a charge of his own, really. He's in a world of his own, a world of speed, and a world of pace that should, hopefully, take him up at the very least. If he continues like this, he's looking on for a slot in Superpole. But remember, we've still got at least 10 other drivers in front of him, and 3 more rounds of qualifying after this to deal with before we get there. So let's not count our chickens just yet. So he's coming up behind, or he's moved past a bit of traffic there. That's number 3 of Atis Bilieu, who is back out on track. They've obviously used this time wisely to get a fix done on the car and get back out there, get some track time out there. Every lap will count. One thing I've learnt in my own sort of amateur sim racing endeavours and anything else, and what most racing drivers of all scales will tell you, is that you get better with every single lap you turn. There is no substitute for experience. So Bilieu doing exactly what he needs to do here. Just log laps, see if he can find something. He's still got 3 rounds left to go. Helly has improved to a 28.098. He's breaking the 27s. That fly's trying to nip my coat now. I don't appreciate this. He's a determined customer, and he's obviously enjoying the qualifying action, which I don't blame him for, because it is very tense at this moment. Well, it has been tense in the other groups, but the big question here, Sprenghelly is clearly the fastest of this group by some distance. That is really without question. The bigger question will be, is after the next group have gone, where will Helly shake down in the overall order? Coming into this round, he was 4th after the first round. Going into the second, he's going to look very promising. He's going to feel like he's got a shot at maybe top qualifying for the B European Championship. Let alone, well, he'll have a good shot at top qualifier, and at the very least Superpole the way he's going. And that is the end of that session. And just to make it clear, his dominance on the field. There's your final rundown. Look at that. Sprenghelly in the end. Bulent Tokur also finished 10 laps. But look at that in the end. A 4:46 versus a 5:12. In fact, Helly and Tokur, I think, are still finishing their laps. There's Tokur coming in now. But both of them on 10 lappers. But look how much quicker Sprenghelly's was. Helly's fastest lap, much, much quicker than anyone else in that field. And not many runners in the end. Atele Atink, Kabila Kutuk, Bulent Togrul, and Atis Bilieu are your other runners. The other 4 did not make the start of that one. So with that in mind, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to RC Racing TV's live coverage of the EFRA 110th IC Track European Championships 2015 on another gloriously sunny day and in Izmir in Turkey. We are kicking off round 3 of qualifying at the EFMOD Arena, a spectacular facility. And Euro B qualifying is commencing with their first group out on the track right now. And of that lineup, we had 2 rounds of qualifying yesterday, which provided their own storylines and their first initial forays out. And after those first 2 rounds, was Yannick Demislo, who's in the provisional TQ position for Group B, or the Euro B class. But of this class that you see out on track right now, in the third of their sessions, it was the current pace setter Spring Helly who was leading the charge, 3rd overall, and he'll be hoping to move up a bit more. As it stands, he will be in the Superpole session, and also in this session as well includes the likes of Atis Bilieu, Haluk Sayoruk. These are all other guys who were very strong and had shown moments of great pace at times. It's all about now if they can string it together and get some results for the final 3 rounds of qualifying. We are here all day today through the final 3 rounds of qualifying and into the Super Pole sessions later on. My name's Adam Johnson, alongside James Parry and Matt McCallum and the whole RC Racing TV team. Our coverage presented today and through the whole event by HB Europe, D'Agostini Model Space, VRC Pro and EFRA, who are both the organisers of this event and help us provide this coverage. We are the official media partners of EFRA, and it's a pleasure doing this event and bringing this to you live. If you're tuning in right now, the 8 AM UK time, 9 AM Central, it's 10 AM local time here in Turkey. Forget about the weather, it's another glorious day out there. There's even less clouds in the sky than yesterday, and there was barely any yesterday. So the sun's going to be out to play again. The track should be the same as it was yesterday, which should provide some consistency for the contestants. And Spring Helly is once again the class of this group, rather comfortably. And over 1 lap, he hasn't quite shown the raw pace of those in Group 2 in Euro B, of which there are 2 groups out this week. But he hasn't shown the raw pace of those guys, but he's been very consistent, winning his group and being far and beyond the fastest in this group. In fact, there's only 8 on the track right now. There's, as you see there, a new fastest lap for Spring Helly. He's improving all the time at 28.976 now. He has been down as far as the low 28s. And the others in this group have been around the 27-second bracket. So over 1 lap, he's maybe not as quick as some of the others at the top end of town, but he's certainly consistent in the early part. And he's doing what he needs to do to get through. As I say, at the very least, he should be in contention for the Super Pole. Now, of course, if you're just joining us, if you're relatively new to the format of EFRA RC Racing competition, the qualifying procedure, there's 5 rounds of qualifying, where the best results are determined by how many laps you can do in a 5-minute time window per round. So it's not about the ultimate fastest lap or the one-off fastest lap. It's about how quick you can go for the entirety of the 5 minutes. And basically those scores are aggregated together. You get points. Well, you get the least amount of points possible. Basically, if you win your group, you get 0 points. And you also get the overall time, as again, Spring Helly is improving. More and more pace coming out of that car. By the lap, now down to a 28.344. He shaved 6/10 off his previous best. And look at him really enjoying the track. It'll be fairly cool out there. These are the first cars on track, the first track activity of the day. So the track will be fairly cool. The sun hasn't been on it for long. So the cars will be running relatively nice, because the engines will be cool. But the tyres may not be. So Spring Helly putting in some good times. But across the 5 rounds, you're allowed 2 drop scores. So it's the best 3 that go forward. And whoever is top overall, regardless of what group you're in, whoever is top scorer overall goes through as top qualifier and locks themselves in to the A main final, and is the first driver to be locked into the final, meaning that they do not have to go through any of the lower finals, not even a semi-final. They are straight in the final and on the pole. So top qualifier is a prized position and one that everyone will be gunning for. If they can't quite make that, if you finish 2nd through 5th at the end of the qualifying rounds, you go into the Super Pole session. Now this is absolutely must-watch entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. I commentated on the inaugural session of this at the 1/8 IC Track European Championships in Endingen in Germany a couple of weeks back. And it was an absolutely fascinating spectacle. Basically, 2nd through 5th are then put into a separate session as again Helly's improving near the end of the session. He's got it down to a 28.263. Slowly getting more and more pace out of that car. He'll probably get about 10 or 11 laps out of this run. And will probably be the only driver to get there. Murat Özkan is close, as is Atele Atink. But they will still be about a lap or so behind. Sprang Helly has been pretty much a class of his own in this group. The Czech Republic driver putting in a good performance, and he has indeed completed 11 laps at the end of that session. But Superpole, you've never seen it before. You're going to want to lock into this one, because 2nd through 5th are placed in their own session. Each car will go out individually on their own for a little bit of warm-up, and then 6 timed laps. The fastest lap of those will go forward, and whoever gets the fastest 1 lap time will be the second driver to qualify through to the main final. The rest will go into the semi-finals and lower finals and beyond. So that Super Bowl session is basically a sudden death. If you want a second shot at going through to the final, if you didn't quite make top qualifier, that is your best shot going through. And I mean, James, we saw out in Ettlingen the Super Bowl session. I mean, the crowds are pretty good for qualifying and obviously very packed for the races, but for Super Bowl I've never seen tension like it in a motorsport arena. The engines out there, they set up for warm temperatures, but it's warmer still today.
Yeah, no, it must have done. It must have done. Looking at those times, it's obviously had a big effect on the drivers.
Guys, this is the first round of the day. This is the one that we thought would be the cool rocket round, where it would be a little bit easier, but having more problems in this one than any of the others.
Yeah, my word, and attrition is surely going to play its role here. Matt, I just want to ask you a brief question there. We were just discussing whether drivers are actually allowed to leave the driver stand or not during the races. It's appeared that's what happened there. Do you think it was because the driver stand's a lot wider, or was it clear that that car was going nowhere, so the driver was allowed to leave to take it back to the pits?
I'm not sure. I do know that in BRCA, when I've seen races in Britain, that they do tend to stay on the driver's stand. I don't know if that's because they have to or not. But yeah, they certainly have been leaving the stand here. When Javier has a moment, I will ask him, but he's busy directing the mechanics down in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We don't want to interfere with his important business as we're gearing up then for straight into round 4 of qualifying for the Euro B. So we're straight back at it again. The rounds coming thick and fast. And let's just see if we can find an updated rank after the first 3 rounds of action for Group Euro B qualifying, because there were some twists and turns in those 2 groups early on. And it looks to me, yeah, it looks to me like Yannick Nemizlo is still your top qualifier after 3 rounds, so still doing the business and still doing a good job. But how long can that last? Georgiadis, the Greek driver, is making a comeback. Sprang Helly in this group is the main contender, and he's up to 3rd right now.
Our viewers, as always, giving us valuable information. A couple of people of you chatting in the YouTube comments saying not leaving the driver's stand, that's an electric class rule apparently. Fabio Barros, and then Louis Cortez says in Nitro the rule does not apply, the drivers can always leave, only electric classes have the rule. So 2 people have said that. Interesting.
Well, that explains it then. So obviously Tuitman was well within his rights to leave the stand there. As I say, obviously that car was not going anywhere for the session. He made about a combined total of 3/4 of a lap in his 3 attempts there, so that car was clearly not going anywhere. And it's a big blow to his chances. But then, as we go into this session then, the man to watch really is Sprang Helly. It's nothing against everyone else in this class, or in this group rather, but your big hitters. Sprang Helly is in contention for Super Pole as it stands. I'm just having a look at some of the others here. Atele Atink, actually I should say Atele Atink, who will roll off 5th. He is 6th overall, so he has really got a shot here of Super Pole from this group, because as it stands, the top 10 is Yannick Nemizlo, Nikos Georgiadis, Sprang Helly, Tom Krajewski 4th, Kaya Ali 5th, 6th for Atele Atink, 7th for Kerem Duzgit, and then 8th is Cengiz Mesler, 9th for Murat Özkan, who is also in this heat. He's third, falling off third. And Kubilay Kutuk is 10th overall and 4th in this group. So, a couple of those guys threatening at the bottom end of the top 10, but a few of those guys, Ateli Atink, right on the knocking on the door of Superpole, and with 2 rounds to go, now could be a great chance to carpe diem, seize the day.
It could.
Absolutely. Straight to the point parry hit and runs again with his hard-hitting one-word opinions. And he doesn't waste words. He goes for the Orwellian vibe. He doesn't waste his words. Gets straight to the point.
Right, I have other things to do and I was zoned out not listening to what you were saying. I just caught the last bit where you're asking me a question and I've got no back history on it. So yes.
It's a bit like when you're not paying attention in class at school and then suddenly...
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Actually, we do have some rather nice biscuits up in here as well to go with our tea, which is rather nice. Yalafi Biscuvi. Very nice. Tea and biscuits, it helps very much. Well, mostly helps me out a lot. And also another guy to watch here, Haluk Sioruk. He's 13th, but certainly he has more pace to burn. I'm pretty sure he's got more to come from that car. And he hasn't got much time to turn it round. 2 more rounds at the very least. At the very most, rather. So, his time has got to be now. You get the feeling that for some people, the train has left the station. And you get the feeling that for some, the train may have left the station. But there is still time, and a lot can still change as they go through. And the countdown is on then. 15 seconds to go.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
So then we are underway for qualifying round 4. Euro B is leading us off first up. And the guys to watch here are Sprengheli, running off last, and Ateli Atink. Sprengheli third after the first 3 rounds. Atink sixth. So those are you guys to watch here, as they are your major contenders for Superpole out of this group. Straight away, Sprengheli banging in a fast lap. And it's almost like he heard me earlier saying that he probably needed to step up his 1 lap pace. That's exactly what he's doing here. Good job from the Czech Republic driver. Ateli Atink would tear the house down if he managed to get into Superpole. One of the home favourites, home drivers. Let's see what he can do out here. Murat Özkan and Haluk Sioruk also up in there as well. And there's a lot of contenders here. When you get to this level, it's there's really no field fillers. There's no one there just to make up the numbers. It's fiercely competitive the whole way through, and any number of hazards can befall even the top drivers. So we watch and we see how these guys can do it. Sprengheli has pretty much been the class of this group. So you watch for him and you assume he'll probably be the biggest hope and the best contender out of this one. But there is still hope for the others as well. As we're 2 minutes in, and early doors, it's Sprengheli again, second pace. Heli comfortably out on his own for the moment. But Haluk Sioruk and Murat Özkan are going with him. Ateli Atink has actually only completed 1 lap in the session. So problems hitting one of the outsiders for Superpole. And that's exactly not what he needed right now. 2 guys have not headed out on the track. Sertak Palaz and David Hassel. They've not gone out at all. So presumably they realise they're saving their stuff and maybe getting ready for the heats. Who knows, on the lower finals. But Sprengheli again setting the pace. No one has really held a candle to him in this group. But he has had his sights set on the very top end of town, the very top end of the qualifiers. And he's had his target set on that, and at the moment he's firmly in finals contention. And it's just about hanging in there, and it's just about keeping it together. And I thought I just heard someone calling for car number 10. And there is a stop and go for someone out there. And we'll wait and see who it is as they come round. Let's have a look and see as they come round. I'm curious to see who it is. And it's for the number 7. That's Kabile Kutuk. Has a stop and go. And he's away. And will ruin his qualifying session. But I think he must have gone into an incident with one of the drivers out there. That's what we saw with Francesco Annunziata. So, again, just little errors that you don't need. Little errors that you don't. It could cost you badly.
Positioning of the 4 minutes. 8, 4, 1, 2, 5, 3, 7, 6.
And Haluk Sioruk has stepped up here with 30 seconds to go in the session. Haluk Sioruk stepping up rather nicely. But Sprung Heli still possibly a contender, but I wonder if Heli has had some sort of issue, you know. Because Heli's times have dropped off a little bit. Heli's coming through the start-finish area now. You'll just see him go through the shot there. But no, Heli is back up to the top. He's not quite as all-conquering this time round, but he's still doing well. As we close out this session, 10 seconds to go. They're 4 hit out, and what can they do? Can Sprang Heli solidify his place in Superpole for the Euro B? Can Natalia Atink get somewhere? It doesn't look like it. He's only completed 1 lap in the entire session. As the field comes through to complete their laps. And Marshall's just on the track near the start line. The track clear again. And as the field completes their laps, they'll come through. Last lap's being completed now. Atis Bleu continuing and completing his laps right below us. So then, as the field finishes up, let's have a look at the results of that setup. A few more still to flow through. I think Kabile Kutuk is the one guy still to finish. He'll come through. So, there we go. Let's just update that to match. And there you go, a little bit closer. 4 drivers on 11 lap runs there. Sprang Heli wins it again though, so he'll solidify his position in the Superpole rankings. That's another good result. That's exactly what he needed again. Murat Ozcan jumping up to 2nd. That's a very good run from Ozcan, who was 9th overall coming into this round, so that'll help push him up. And just as Natalia Atink went the wrong way, Murat Ozcan could have jumped up there. And Bulent Tokur, a good run for him as well. Haluk Sioruk and Bulent Togrul on your top 5. Kabile Kutuk and Atis Bleu, he's 7. And then the bottom 3 barely had a hit out in that one, and I've been frustrated with that. So we go through to the second group of the Euro B qualifiers. Here's where your big names are. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RC Racing TV's live coverage of the EFRA 110th IC Track European Championships, presented in Izmir, Turkey, on a gorgeous day in the foothills. Presented live on RC Racing TV by HP Europe, De Agostini Model Space, VRC Pro, and EFRA. And we are in to the very final round of qualifying. This is it. Last chance saloon for some. For others, they are safely on their passage into the higher finals and maybe the final itself. Top qualifier is pretty much a lock in the Euro A, as we'll talk to you about in a minute. But in the Euro B class, which you can see on the track right now, it's a very different story. And for the moment, at least, it looks to be a straight shootout between Tom Krajewski and Yannick Nimoslo as to who gets that position and who goes into the Super Pole sessions coming up later on today. So we have a car slowed on the track. Now, which car is that? I think that's number 3, Atis Bilieu. It's been a very problematic weekend for him so far. It's another fast lap from Springheli. He has been the class of this field in the first group of the Euro B qualifiers, and so he should be, because he is right in contention for Super Pole, and it's probably the one driver in this group that is. Although Murat Ozkan is also there as well. Although Ozkan has not come out for any laps here. I wonder if he knew how close he was to a potential Super Pole qualifying spot. Or if he did, his car isn't out there. In fact, I can see it just below us. It's in the lane, and it ain't going anywhere. It hasn't taken the start. There it is. There it is. There's Murat Ozkan's car, number 8. And he was 6th after 4 rounds of qualifying. He was on the verge of a potential Super Pole, and either the car has completely died on him. Yeah, it looks like it has. What a massive frustration for him. How infuriating. Could have gone into Super Pole for the Euro B class. As it stands, it looks like he's plunging away, and a spot even in the semi-final may be at risk here.
Faulty glow plug.
Faulty glow plug by the look of it. Well identified, Matt. It's on camera duty for now. The RC Racing TV team here in Izmir this weekend. Myself, Adam Johnson, Matt McCollum and James Parry. And a good spot there. A faulty glow plug in that car. It's kind of their equivalent of a spark plug in the nitro engine. The nitromethanol engines have been fairly temperamental out here. The heat rising on the track is nearing towards 40 degrees at certain points. It's been 38, it's the highest we've seen today. Still they can't get that thing going. It's over. It's over. This session's over. They're not going to get anything out of it now. They're at least 5 down. We've got another car in the lane as well. Is that the number 2? It's the number 3 of Atis Bilieu. And he was the car that was stopped on track in the early part of the session, so problems beguiling a lot of these contenders here. That's the number 7, I think, going through spot. That's Kabale Kutuk, who is not doing too badly himself, actually, in the overall qualifying rounds. He is, of the contenders so far, he's 13th out of 18. As I say, the guy we really need to pay attention to is Springheli, who has been your main challenger from this first group all day, all the way through all the qualifying sessions. See if we can find Springheli's number 1 car. They are flying around the track. This immense EFMOD arena facility. Can't stop saying nice things about it, and we mean every single word. It's a phenomenal venue, and I can see Springheli coming through the final few corners now. There he is, the white and yellow car. In terms of raw speed, as I say, he's not been quite with the runners in the second group, but he certainly has the consistency down. He's nailed wins in every single group, every single round of qualifying so far, pretty much, and it's been very solid. Going into this round, he's 4th, which would qualify him for Super Pole, and if he wins this heat as well, that pretty much locks him in. So it'll be between the likes of Krajewski, Nimoslo, Georgiadis, Ali, and, well, it was going to be Murat Ozkan. He didn't even get it out. Kaseb Amit will be contender in the second group. But for now, let's just watch and enjoy Springheli bringing this thing home for what should be 5 out of 5 for his group. I think he may have had 1 or 2 errors. I'm not sure if he managed to win every single round in his group, but he's certainly been the dominant driver in this group. He's been on a pace of his own, and right now only Haluk Sioruk is on a similar pace to him, anywhere nearby, and Sioruk is in 11th. Cars are coming home now to finish their laps, coming towards the end of the session. Clock has ticked down to 0, and we're watching Springheli come home. Very neat and tidy style, and there's a car just being retrieved as we see him go through shot. That is the number 6 car of Ateli Atink. Now Atink, where did he go? He was doing pretty well after the first round. he was 8th. So another contender who was just on the outskirts of Super Bowl, hitting trouble here. This is fascinating stuff. How much bad luck is there? There's hands being thrown up in the air, shruggers of the shoulders. They don't know either. So
7,
mechanical issues befalling these guys, just on the verge of potential qualifying positions. So Zatis Bilieu having to finish the race. Well, actually, Bilieu
time is
will
over.
finish the race. So
Finished.
let's have a look at the final running then. And Sprenghelly sweeps the qualifying sessions in this Group 1. And he's been over 12 seconds up on his nearest contender, Haluk Siyoruk. Bulent Takur and Kabele Kutuk have been showing pretty good pace and flashes. And behind them it was Atali Atink, Bulent Togrul, Atis Bilieu, Sertak Palaz, David Hassel and Murad Ozkan. Now, Hassel's car has not been out almost all morning, same with Sertak Palaz. But Murad Ozkan, bitterly disappointed. He would have thought he had an outside shot at Super Bowl. That has gone now. So, contenders are starting to bite the dust, but Sprenghelly has played himself right into contention. And now we see the grid of contenders for what will be Super Bowl and the top qualifier overall. Kaya Ali will roll off with them. He'll be rolling off the pole. He is 5th going into this round, so he's right on the bubble. Yannick Nemoslo, 2nd overall going in. He was leading for a long time, but down to 2nd with the resurgence of Tom Kragevsky. So Kragevsky will roll off 5th. Kerim Duzgit, Cengiz Samozle, Umedal Tumen, Kasap Ahmet and Arno Pupke behind him as well. The pit lane is lining up with these angry beasts, shrieking machines, ready to roll off, ready to go. And really, the question has to be asked. There are 4 points between 1 and 2 here, Kragevsky and Nemizlo. So it is going to take something major to dislodge Kragevsky here. Kragevsky wins the heat, that's pretty much it all over. And I'm pretty sure Nemizlo will have to finish ahead of him and by multiple positions in order to get this through. And the fact is, Kragevsky has gone to the top of the rankings because he has 3 group wins here. His drop score so far, his one drop score so far, is round 2 of qualifying, where he did not do very well at all. He had problems. So, but now he's dropped that score. He is jumped to the top. So the fact is, even if he has another bad round here, that'll be his 2nd drop score, and he'll have an invincible record. So basically, no pressure or anything to Mislo, but you have to win this one. There's no other question about it. Otherwise, Kragevsky is through. Nikos Georgiadis has also had a pretty good run. He's been up there mixing it with these guys, and I think will be a big threat in Super Bowl. He's pretty much locked himself into Super Bowl. In fact, around Super Bowl positions, Kaya Ali is 5th right now on 17 points. Murad Ozkan was 6th on 20 points, although I think he's out of contention now. Kasap Ahmet, who is in this heat, is 7th on 21 points, so 4 points back. And then Atale Atink was also in the previous heat, and he's on 23 points. So I think Super Bowl is pretty much a lock as well. And there's still a lot to play for and a lot that can change in a very short space of time going into this heat. We've still got 3 minutes to go. Still got 3 minutes to go. The countdown is on. 10 seconds to go.
9, 8,
As soon as the flag drops, the cars will be put down on the tarmac.
5, 4,
There we go. Down. 1. Green flag. They are underway.
Ooh, one went very fast then.
He took out like a scalded cat, but the battle for third is already on behind. Already some scrapping going on. I think Kasap Ahmet has moved past Murad Ozkan on the start. Kasap Ahmet straight up there. A lightning quick move. We've seen a couple of those moves early doors and early in the going. And as the leaders stream through, Nemizlo leading early from Sprenghelly. And already Helly has been hounded by Murad Ozkan. He's come around to complete that one. Nemizlo leads relatively comfortably. About as comfortably as you're going to get in these races. 2nd, and there's an issue for a car there. I can't tell who that was. That was number 5 of Atali Atink. So that's the driver I told you to watch. He is now, his job has just been made 10 times harder. An instant in the final corners in the opening laps. There is your top 3 on screen. And the orange car in 4th is Murad Ozkan, who just fell behind in the opening laps. Looks like he was caught napping in those opening corners, James.
Yes, it does.
You've not got any more wording since yesterday, have you? Straight to the point, Parry. Strikes again on RC Racing TV. We love it, though. And Murad Ozkan is trying to turn things around here. trying is the word. And the car has been issues for Sprenghelli up in front. In fact, the number 1 is in the lane. Yannick Nemizlo's in the lane. This is far too early for routine pit stops. He's just a minute and a half in, and he's back out again though. That looked fairly routine. I'm not sure if I saw a fuel can in there. If it was a routine fuel stop, then surely this is a strange strategy,
No,
given he rolled off on the pole.
I don't think that was a fuel stop. I think that was a tweak, engine tweak mixture.
Fuel mixture tweak there.
Oh, it was a body tuck. Well spotted there.
Good job, Matt, up on the camera, letting us know what was going on there. And it has put Nemizlo behind the 8 ball, but luckily he's still in third, despite that pit stop. And he's already making time up on Sprenghelli. The battle for second is coming through the opening corners, and he's already moved back by Sprenghelli for second place. Your current leader is Kasab Ahmet, started 4th on the grid, and has moved up in the early going and done very strongly. I have to say, his pace is comparable to anyone out there on the track right now, and he's doing very strongly. Contrast of styles there. Sprenghelli has been relentlessly consistent down here this week, but will that be enough? Will he need more pace out of his car? For now, it's enough to keep him ahead of Halit Korpe in 4th place. Murad Ozkan now down to 5th, but Korpe is in 4th place car. And the number 8 flipping the opening corners again. That's another issue. No, that's not the car that went off before. I think that was the number 7 of Kubala Kutuk. Oh, sorry, that was Bulent Togrul. And I think that's caused a little bit of a timing error because he went off round the opening corners and he put back on. Wasn't shown as completing an extra lap. So I think some timing screen shenanigans have gone on there. I think something's happened with the timing there where Bulent Togrul was recovered onto the track. So, car number 4 now in issues. Kasab Ahmet. I heard the referee shouting about it. There's his car being retrieved up on the end of the back straight. This second semi-final has started in absolute anarchy. Everything is going on here. James, can you make any sense of it?
No.
No, I didn't think so. So, Ahmet's car returned to the lane. The question now, Bulent Togrul has now scored 5th, so that's rectified itself. With that brief issue on the time screens, I think he went off having completed a lap and then was put back on behind the start and finish line, so it was scored as completing another lap, but they've rectified that now. So Togrul back to where he was. Meanwhile, the battle we're watching on screen is between Sprenghelli and is that Halit Korpe behind him? That's Halit Korpe behind him. This is the battle for the final transfer spot then. Korpe desperate not to go into that limbo zone of 4th and 5th place and rely on what ifs and maybes, and maybe not. So this is the battle then. Sprenghelli has been so consistent this week, nailing laps, not making a single mistake, but his 1 lap speed has not been quite there compared to everyone else. And he looked fairly uncomfortable when he had to step it up in qualifying in Superpole yesterday. He is not built. Whoa! There was a car in the middle of the road there. They went through the first few corners. Now, who was that was off? Marshall's now retrieving it. See if we can get an idea. And the drive belt's off. That's the number 6 of Kubala Kutuk. So drive belt's off of the number 6. Car's in the lane as well. Who's that down in the pit lane? That does not look like a routine stop down there. Couple of cars up. Whoever it is back underway. Everything happening in the early minutes of this race. Routine pit stops are now starting though, so that adds a little bit to the complexation. So we might have to give this a couple of laps to cycle through. And where's Halit Korpe in the middle of all this? Korpe is the number 8 car coming through chicanes now. That's a spin up at the top of the straight and another clip there. Instants of plenty in this race. Everything going on. And I can tell you, is that Yannick Nemizlo's car? That's the number 1 of Yannick Nemizlo. He's still running 3rd in amongst all this. But some issues befalling him as well. The number 7 of Bulent Togrul is in there as well, but he's a lap or so back on these guys. That is Nemizlo. There's Nemizlo. There's a car stranded right there where that marshal is.
Number 4 marshal.
Stranded.
Number 4 marshal.
One of the marshals being barked at. And a couple of cars. And it's all happening out here. This is absolutely crazy stuff out in the early going. There's Sprenghelli coming through the final corners. Sprenghelli then battling with, that's the number 7 Bulent Togrul, not on the same lap. So Helly is still holding station in 2nd place. And that car there is the number 3. That's Murad Ozkan, who's had a tough start to this race. He's been struggling early on then. And fell away in the early going. But he's still got a chance here with everything that's been going on. There is every chance for everyone out there, the way it's going. Kasabamet is scored as your leader, and he's coming through the start-finish area now. The red and white car coming through the start-finish zone. And then second place is, well, actually Nimislo now scored as your leader. Nimislo, Ahmet, and Sprang Heli still hanging in there in third. And Heli, oh, has had a little bit of contact. Let's drop back to Sprang Heli, shall we? Heli should be coming through the EFRA hairpin now. There he is, Swiss driver, coming through those corners there. Very wide. Coming through, that's not Halleck Corpay behind him. Corpay has lost some time there. Heli is just the car in front of him. There's Heli's car, the white and yellow car. He's still third. Relentless consistency. That's what you can expect out of him. And it's going to have to take others beating him on speed rather than him tripping up to get him out, dislodge him from the qualifying spots. Throughout this race, Heli continues on his way. This race already providing all sorts of twists and turns. That is the number 8 of Halleck Corpay in front of him there. That was Corpay just in front there. Corpay just hit the pit lane. I think the pit stop cycling through. Heli continues in third. The march is on. And Murat Ozkan still in the battle as well as Bulent Togrul also up there. Now something's going on in the pit lane. I don't think that was a routine stop for Halleck Corpay at all. The far end of the pit lane, far end, there it is. There's Halleck Corpay's car. That's not a routine fuel stop at all. There's some fuel going in there, but there's also tools going under the hood there. What is going on there? Surely not a flame out. Glow plug issues, perhaps. We had a belt come off one of the cars earlier as well. Well, that was Kutuk's car. But Corpay has now dropped right to the bottom end of the order. And his chances of making it to the final going up in smoke. I have a horrible feeling they might be, because that car is still not going anywhere. It is still not moving, and it has been there for a very long time now. Still not going anywhere. The wait is agonising. The seconds ticking by like hours out there, as his hopes are just going up in smoke. Meanwhile, let's find your top 3 out on the track. Sprang Heli's going through the bus stop now. He's your third place runner. There's Murat Ozkan, who's the 4th place car, and he's in that limbo zone. Right now, Ateli Atink is in that zone as well. Meanwhile, Halleck Corpay has returned to the track. He's back out there, but I think he's lost too much time. I think he just won't be able to do it. He's in the George Adis scenario now, where he's going to have to make up an impossible amount of time to even get near the transfer spots. He's down up 4 laps. As, again, the pit lane, a vocal area. Pit lane now for Nimislo. Pit lane for Nimislo. So Nimislo, who had cycled back through to the lead, he's back out. He's just seen him go out. There he is. Right in the middle of the shot. He's just gone back out there. He is your leader. Or he was your leader. And Ateli Atink has just been warned to be careful by the referee out there. So I wonder if he was just getting in someone's way, maybe in the pit lane. But here is Nimislo, who still scored as your leader. Sprang Heli currently second, and Kasem Ahmet third. And more cars down in the lane as well. I think Murat Ozkan's car has just been in and out of the lane. A lot of shouting between the two. That is Murat Ozkan's car in front of Nimislo right now. Nimislo is scored as your leader, so he's still out in front. And Murat Ozkan is your 4th place car. On a half spin for Ozkan, that will not hope his quest to get into the final. And we've got Nimislo moving past one of the lap cars. That's Kubalay Kutuk, who's had all sorts of issues in this race. But we drop back. Let's have a look. Where's Sprang Heli? Sprang Heli's just coming through the EFRA hairpin now at the far end of the track, and through the S-bends. The white and yellow car. There he is going through. And here he comes. Here's his 2nd place car. He was second. He may still be second after the pit stop. Quick splash of fuel. In and out. Relentless consistency from Heli. And that could take him all the way to glory, you know. It is all you need. Kasab Ahmet has now scored just in front of him. Ahmet was right in the lead battle, but Sprang Heli is doing absolutely everything that is asked of him, really. He couldn't get a good lap time down in Superpole, but in terms of his qualifying and in terms of his race performance, this is just about everything you'd want from a race driver. Sometimes the pyrotechnics and the high speed and the aggression can be overrated. Sometimes you just want someone who you know will bring the car home without a blemish on it and with a good solid finish to boot. And the amount of time that mistakes can cost, especially in this discipline, someone that doesn't make any at all is a very valuable asset. So Sprang Heli, the Swiss driver, is relentlessly solid here. And at the moment, his nearest rival is nowhere to be seen. Murat Ozkan is upwards of a lap behind him right now. So, big issues. Let's keep following Heli for now, because Ozcan is that far behind. In fact, I think Murad Ozcan, the next car up the road. Ozcan is the orange car that's just gone out of shot to the right, so that shows you the gap. Heli continues down the back straight. We watch Heli, and just a couple of cars in front of him was Ozcan, but that shows you the gap. Almost a lap between third and fourth right now. With just over 8 minutes to go, Spreng Heli, his relentless consistency, doing such a good job out there in conditions that have broken many a weaker driver mentally, many a faster driver in terms of outright speed, but many a less mentally strong driver. And Heli's consistency has not been heeded. We have a car returning to the lane via the marshals. That's the number 7 of Bülent Togrul. Has been returned to the pits just in front of our commentary position. So nothing to affect the top 3 at the moment. Togrul was down the order anyway after some issues. So Spreng Heli continues to truck on. Kasabamet continues in second place. And your leader is still Yannick Nemizlo. Pace has always been there this weekend for Nemizlo. He'll have been bitterly disappointed not to qualify as Superpole winner. But he's doing everything asked of him in this one. Had a little issue early on. A very brief stop. Looked like a body tuck issue. Spreng Heli just dealing with some traffic there. In fact, that is the number 6 of Kubale Kutuk. So a lap behind third place in 6th. So Murad Ozcan is not that far up the road. And Natalia Atink, I get the feeling, will also be nearby as well. And I keep craning my neck over to check down in the pit lane to make sure there's nothing happening, because there's a lot of barking of instructions going on down there. Sometimes it can sound a lot more dramatic than it is. But certainly under pressure. There's a car off at the final corners. That's the number 3 of Murad Ozcan. So Murad Ozcan, he gets back underway. He was jammed into the wall there for a second. He couldn't back it out. And that has cost, I think, Ozcan his lap on Spreng Heli. Heli has just passed him on the track. So third to fourth, nose to tail on the track. But there is actually a lap separating them, and that'll feel like a yawning chasm for Murad Ozcan at the moment. There is Spreng Heli, who is now overtaken and lapped. Fourth place on the track. What a big blow that is to strike. Heli's march continues. As I say, just over 1 lap. He's maybe not as quick as those around him, but this consistency will serve him so well throughout the competition, and it has already. He is just absolutely impervious. He's bulletproof. He is relentless consistency. He will deliver solid results for you. He may not set the place on fire, but sometimes that's not all that's needed. It is not always about being the explosive guy who's flipping up on 2 wheels and headbutting every rumble strip and making the big overtakes and throwing those big Hail Marys at the last laps. Sometimes motorsport is a very simple game. You nail your marks every single lap, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be in contention for the win. I make it sound like the easiest thing in the world, but we've seen so many drivers, so many stronger drivers over 1 lap not be able to do that this weekend. But Spreng Heli has, and that consistency is going to serve him well. It has done already. So your top 3 then. Yannick Nemizlo continues to truck on as your leader, the German driver, followed by Kasabamet second. So the home fans will have something to cheer. They've already got 3 Turkish drivers guaranteed in the final, as well as Kaya Ali, the Superpole winner. They could have a 5th one here in Kasabamet, and a couple more as well. And let's just have a look. That's the number 7 car passing Spreng Heli. That was Bülent Togrul, who's still making his laps up from earlier. Spreng Heli, another really fast pit stop, lightning quick, little dab of fuel, and in and out. That's all you need to do. Still, he holds a comfortable advantage over Murad Ozcan. And Nemizlo and Ahmet are spaced out by about 45 seconds right now, about a lap or so. So, yeah, about 12 seconds between the leaders, Nemizlo and Ahmet. But Spreng Heli is third place. Now, where's Nemizlo on the track? Nemizlo is coming through the start-finish area. He's just gone through the bottom of shot. He's the white number 1 car, going through the first few hairpins. There he is. There's your leader. And he has about 12 seconds on second place. And Nemizlo has been trucking on. He has converted his quick 1-lap speed into relentless efficiency in the race. He was my pick for Superpole, having come so close to going through his TQ, only to be pipped at the last second by Tom Krajewski. He would not be denied a 3rd time. He was denied once in qualifying and again in Superpole. He won't be fooled again. He's making absolutely sure of his position here. Now, something to watch as well is the number of laps being completed by 4th and 5th place. Murat Ozkan and Atali Atink will continue to follow the lead in the Mislo. And I'll just tell you right now, they have completed 32 and 32, well, 32 laps each. And they've got 3.5 minutes to go as the Mislo's in what should be his final pit stop. He's slightly off sequence after his earlier stop. He's back out and away. And I don't think he should have lost the lead there even. In fact, the only car that's gone by him is the number 8 of Halek Korpe. And Korpe is down in 6th, a couple of laps back, but what to watch here is that the Mislo is on 36 laps. Ozkan and Atink are 4 behind, so they're on 32. So they need to complete, at the very least, 41 laps for them both to go through. In which case, if they complete 40 or 39 laps, which is what the 4th and 5th place finishes in the last race completed, it'll be down to overall time. And that is a limbo you don't want to be in. But at least they know the target, they know what they've got to go for. And right now, with Ozkan and Atink so far behind 3rd place, Sprengheli, that's all they've got to go for. They know the target to be set. At least they go, one of them may well go through if they hit 40 laps. They will still have to have beat 4th place finisher's time from the last race. And Artis Billure and the 5th place guys, those guys from the previous race will be incredibly nervous right now, waiting for these results to come through. And watch the lap counters anxiously. They're on 34 laps now with 2 minutes to go. I think it's a big ask to do up to 7 or 8 laps in 2 minutes. It's possible, but you average more 3 laps in about 1:20 here, so I think Billure and those 2 from the first race might have done just enough, but it's something they won't want to lose out, as the number 7 has been in and out. That's Bulent Togrul, still coming from behind. He's still a couple of laps back. His comeback is going to fall way short. He's still giving it his all throughout this race. So more pit stop. That's the pit stop for the number 2 of Sprengheli just beneath us. So Heli still on for it, and it's Artis Billure and Halek Siorek who are in the qualifying positions for now. Billure completing 40 laps, remember, Siorek 39. So if 4th and 5th in this race, Atink and Ozkan right now can complete 41 laps each, they will both get through. James is shaking his head alongside me. He's got it down to such an extent where he doesn't even have to say anything now. Just a facial expression is enough.
There's only a minute left. It's 27 seconds, 30 seconds a lap.
Yeah, so they are going to fall short. So I think Billure and Siorek can maybe breathe a sigh of relief. They may well just get a reprieve here. Sprengheli just navigates the lap car there. Heli, meanwhile, has been very impressive. I've been talking a lot about Nimislo. Kasabamet has been strong as well, but Sprengheli, who you're seeing on the screen right now, has been relentlessly consistent. There is Nimislo, your leader then. Nimislo leads 2nd place for Kasabamet, 3rd for Sprengheli, 4th and 5th, Ateli Atink and Murat Ozkan. And they're on 38 laps right now. This is going to be incredibly close. If they complete 39, then that means that Artis Billure is guaranteed through, but it puts them in the same pool as Siorek. And then who completes it? As the car is all over the place in front of Nimislo, the leader. That's the number 8 of Halek Korpe. Cars coming across the line now. It's those lap counters that are all the difference. We're going to follow Nimislo home, who is going to be your winner of the 2nd semi-final in the Euro B Championship. Nimislo coming home to complete his race. And a very good race it has been. Early problems did not stymie his charge, and it's been a great result in the end. So then, cars coming across the line to finish. Time is up, that's it. Here's your lineup on screen then. So let's do some quick. So then, the grid is about to come up on screen. There we go. It's about coming up on screen there. I'm just making sure we stay ahead of the timing screens. They can flip over pretty quickly, but here is your finishing lineup then. I think we're going to have to consult the timing lineup, the results from the first race, because
kind of what the track looks like. This is a bit of footage that they've taken that doesn't seem, it's very static footage now. That's why for a minute there, it looked static. It's just that the that particular quadcopter's extremely stable
I see.
and has a very good gimbal.
Well, there you go. There is the track that we've been talking so much about today. An awesome aerial shot. Coverage of that drone. It's almost like the start of a Formula 1 broadcast. It looks magnificent. And there is your EFMOD Arena facility. You can see it there. There's the top-down view. That building at the bottom there is the main race control building. That is also the home of our commentary box and main camera positions. Start-finish line rolling around. And you can see that long back straightaway. And the whole track playing out. You can see the runways behind. There is a perfect bird's eye view. It's like playing an old Micro Machines game. It looks fantastic.
You wait till you see the cars start as well. They are super tiny. They start any second.
Have a look at this down at the bottom. Watch the cars fly off, fly away.
It's like a satellite, isn't it?
It is. It is absolutely.
It's on a tripod mounted to the sky.
Wow! Look at that. It looks like one of those racing manager games. This is wonderful. And they look like little insects having their own race around this track. And they're using a shortened version, as you can see, where they turn right at that chicane section. Wow, this is phenomenal.
It's like VRC Pro, this is. It's amazing.
This is amazing.
Doesn't look real, does it?
No.
This is like a video game at this point in time.
VRC Pro does look real.
And as you can see, great, magnificent aerial shots of our EFMOD Arena here that we are commentating from. I'm bringing you all the action in the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. That is the starting area. You see the start-finish area for the rolling starts and the Le Mans style starts, the pit area, and race control building. We're on the second floor there. You see that second row of windows? We're right in there. And then just above that is the driver area, which is also where our main camera point is. And up on the roof, imagine a satellite dish, because that's where ours is for now.
Yeah.
Clinging on for dear life.
Clinging on for dear life, yes it is.
Apparently they're doing more of these shots, and maybe when they do the video tonight, we can
Come out,
wave out the window,
Yeah.
on the roof.
That'll be fantastic. You see the cars coming through, coming into the pit area. This is magnificent. Does he fly down into the garage as well?
No.
Not quite, not quite. I was going to say, it'd be very brave to do that. You can see the facility spread out here, and you can see the range of... This is ridiculous. This is like those mods where you can sort of control the camera freely in a video game. It's mind-blowingly stable. Unbelievable for an aerial vehicle, if you will. And there is the driver stand right there, which is where the drivers will control their machines. And that shows you the distance away from the track that they are, and the distance away from their own cars that they are for a lot of the race. Oh, the track time